On human rights, which was a key point for this Parliament, we have agreed on important improvements on the Commission proposals. For instance, any missions of Frontex where there is a violation of human rights will now be suspended or terminated. We will also appoint a fundamental rights officer in the agency and a consultative forum on human rights. And we will also monitor return operations in terms of human rights. Finally, we will also increase the democratic scrutiny of the agency, and therefore the agency will be held increasingly accountable to Parliament.
Mr. Batten, for 2 minutes on behalf of the EFT Group.
There is indeed a massive problem with illegal immigration into Europe. The effects of this problem are especially felt in England and in particular in my constituency of London. England attracts immigration, illegal and illegal, because of the possibilities for work and our generous benefits and housing systems. The UK Independence Party would not be opposed to genuine cooperation between European nation states to counter the problems of illegal immigration. But this proposal is not about genuine cooperation. It seeks to change the legal basis on which Frontex operates and gives them more so-called competencies. It will, for example, give Frontex the ability to cooperate with third-party countries on behalf of the EU. This proposal is yet another way of increasing the power and dominion of the European Union over its member states. The proposal is another step in introducing the European Union's common immigration and asylum policy as enshrined in the Lisbon Treaty. And as I will never tire of saying, the Lisbon Treaty was undemocratically imposed on the peoples of Europe without their consent. The Lisbon Treaty was illegal under existing English constitutional law, and everything that stems from it is therefore illegal in England. There is another problem here, which is the European Convention on Human Rights. British courts are obligated to protect the human rights of foreign nationals in the UK. Once in the UK, they only have to claim their human rights are likely to be at risk in their own country, and the courts will not send them home. As a result of this, we have given refuge to all kinds of criminals. If I have heard him correctly, Mr Buttigieg has said that all operations would be suspended while a human rights issue was being considered. This is like bailing out a boat with a bucket that has an enormous hole in the bottom. The UK Independence Party will vote against this proposal.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the non-attached, Mr. Bronze for 1.5 minutes.
Frontex is a border control agency that's been prevented from controlling borders. In the explanatory statement from the rapporteur, its function of preventing illegal migration is so understated as to become almost invisible. The need to, quote, keep borders open for people who need protection, unquote, and to work hand in hand with the European Asylum Office is stated boldly and confidently, which places it at the centre of its concerns. This means that those who describe themselves as asylum seekers must be welcomed with open arms, regardless of the reality of their status. There is quite rightly coverage of the need to cut cross-border crime, in which case, why have a border-free Schengen area? However, illegal migration is mentioned only in hushed terms. We are told that Frontex must respect fundamental rights. If that means that migrants must not be ill-treated, that is absolutely right. However, what it means in practice is the principle of so-called non-refoulement, which means that illegal migrants from dangerous countries must not be returned to those countries, even if they are not at any particular risk compared with other residents. The logic of that principle is that all of the populations of dangerous countries should be brought to Europe. Frontex is quite rightly told to rescue illegal migrants in danger. However, once they have been saved, they gain asylum status and cannot be returned to the countries from which they come. The words moral and blackmail come to mind. Thank you.
The floor to Mr. Madlener for 1 minute. Well, thank you very much, President. Madam Malmström is actually just leaving the door of the EU open, the border open. Why don't you do what you're supposed to do, Commissioner Malmström? Why don't you ensure proper surveillance of the external border of the EU? That's what the citizens want. we have all these thousands of people who've come into Europe from Africa. They've gone through that external border without any bother, and they either ask for asylum or they become illegal migrants. I'm asking Commissioner Malmström, when are you really going to deal with the situation at the Bulgarian border? People buy their entrance, I do say buy. The Dutch embassy in Bulgaria has said that with €500 you can pay the border guards and get in. What's the point in having this system if you've got corruption? What does Commissioner Malmström think of this, and what's she going to do about it? Thank you.